So today, Dino is making a homemade pizza from scratch, including the crust. The crust was comprised of about 4.5 cups of all-purpose flour, about 2.5–3 tablespoons of instant yeast. I used about a cup of water and 1/2 cup of beer. I used 1.5 teaspoons of salt, about 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1/4 cup of oil. You can use olive oil or cooking oil. Mix that all together, make it not real dry, you still want it a little pasty. And then you're going to take it and knead it on the table a little bit. You're going to roll it out, and what I use for rolling pin, because I forgot I did not have one, was my trusty can of cooking spray. Pam. Worked really well as a rolling pin for the dough. I then molded it into the shape of a cookie pan, because I did not have a cake pan, which is usually taller sides for cake. So I'm using this cookie pan. I've let the dough rise, and I at that point took my hands and cut some edges in there, keeping a little crust on there, and then I pat the rest of the dough down in the center, because when it cooks it'll rise again. So we're letting this rest while I'm making the sauce right there in the pan, which is basically Del Monte's original style tomato sauce is what I use. Put about 1 tablespoon of salt, a couple of tablespoons of black pepper. I used about 1/2 small onion, diced that up. Put some 1.5 tablespoons of garlic powder in there. Put about 1.5 tablespoons of sugar to take some of the bitterness out. And that's about it for that. And I made some homemade, hopefully going to turn out to be Italian style sausage by putting some, used about 1/2 kilo of ground pork. Used about 4 tablespoons of salt, 3 tablespoons of black pepper. I used one of my favorite seasonings, which I also used in the spaghetti sauce, which was the pizza seasoning. It actually only calls for like paprika and fennel, but we cannot find fennel here in the Philippines. So I also used about 2 tablespoons of paprika, about 1/2 cup of water, mix it all up real good, and smells pretty good. And we're also going to use some ground beef on there. I'm going to brown both the ground beef and the Italian sauce, the pseudo Italian sausage I might say, for the top of that. And there's some onions right there, and we have some mushrooms we're going to put on there, canned mushrooms, because I could not find fresh mushrooms. Take the sauce out of the pan, put it in a different container, start browning the pseudo Italian sausage and ground beef. You want the tomato sauce to be cool when you put it on the dough, so it doesn't cook the dough on the top of it. I also found some mozzarella cheese to put on top of that. I added about 1 cup of water to the sauce, the Del Monte original tomato sauce, because it comes out of the package pretty thick. So it'll give the opportunity to simmer it for about 20 or 30 minutes for all the seasonings to blend in. The dough took about an hour. The dough took about an hour for it to rise, and I think it rolls really nice. Alright, so now it is time to put some sauce. Now it's time to put sauce on the crust. Take a spoon of sauce and throw it around here. And I'd like to get it up there on the edge so that the crust itself on the edge does not burn. Get a little up there on the edge there. Get another scoop of sauce, and I'll run the line right down the edge all the way around, just like that. And now I'm free to be able to sauce the edge. Oops, there's some falling off all over the floor. It's gonna make a mess. So now I'm free to get some up on the edge all the way around like that, just using the heel of the plastic spoon. Just kind of push that way, it'll automatically go up on the edge. Alright, now when I get a liberal amount of sauce here, I like a lot of sauce on my pizza. That's part of the taste. If you don't have no sauce and you eat pizza, kind of like spaghetti. Alright, a couple more big spoons of sauce here. That should be enough. And just kind of circle pattern. Don't worry, that sauce will cook into the crust. It won't be dripping off. Right, so then next thing we're going to do, I like to put the meat on it, and then the onion, and then the mushroom. So we're just going to sprinkle the meat right along the edge here. I always start at the edges. I want to make sure we have things on the edge of the pizza when you get it to the edge up over there. Quite a bit of meat to go on here. Usually back in the States when I make a pizza, it weighs about 8 pounds. Combination of the dough and the ingredients. I don't have a scale here. So we just sprinkle around the edge. There, now all the edges area is covered. Now we have all this meat to put on. We'll do it the easy way. Let's just dump it on here and kind of move it around, fill in the bare spot. So they're equal amount all over the pizza as best you can. So there you go. We've got meat all over the pizza. Now we're going to toss our mushrooms on here. Like I said, we're just going to toss them from the can. Could not find fresh mushrooms. Especially since I'm doing this one-handed. It's really easier just to toss them out of the can like that, and then I can arrange them around the pizza itself. I have the oven set on 350. That's like my favorite temperature that I usually use. Seems like my cooking videos seem to score pretty good on YouTube for some reason. I guess maybe people like to eat, they want to try something different, who knows. Try to get these mushrooms equal. You want to try to get all your items that you put topping. It doesn't matter what you put on the pizza. Pizza is pizza. Depends on what ingredients that you like. So I think the mushrooms are all finished. Now we got some onion over here to put on there. Get that there spaced down here kind of nicely like this. I don't know if I have enough onion here. Maybe I do. A little bit left. Space it a little bit farther apart. I might have to rearrange the onion some. Like that. think we're good with the onion. So, what do you think so far? We got pseudo Italian sausage, we got ground beef, we got onion, we got mushroom. Next on the list, look at that. I actually found mozzarella cheese. They had it over at Robinson Mall Market. The market in Robinson Mall had it over there in the dairy area. It has several different kinds of cheeses. This is the sliced. I like using the sliced because it's easier to place on a pizza. It comes, as you can see, separated with paper on each sheet. So, there you have it. There's my Sicilian style pizza. Sicilian style as opposed to Italian style. New York is Italian style and Chicago is more of a Sicilian style. Reason why is because, of course, Italians are the ones that actually kind of more Italian immigrants in New York and the East Coast. Over in Chicago area is where there's a lot more of the Sicilians that came in from Sicily. Sicilian's like a thicker crust, more like a bread crust, piled high, and the Italians in New York style is very thin crust that you fold in half and eat. The reason you have to fold it in half is because it's very thin and it just falls. So that's a difference. This you eat with a fork. More like a meal, not a snack. So now we're going to pop it in the oven. This will probably take maybe 10 or 15 minutes at 350 degrees for it to bake and be finished. 10 or 15 minutes, I'll check it, see how it's doing. Don't worry about the cheese. Most of the time the cheese will actually melt and kind of run all over the place. That's what I'm hoping for. Alright, so there it is. Took about 20 minutes in the oven on 350, and she is finished and ready to be eaten. And let that cool for a few minutes. Kids are still upstairs with Mom watching the new Godzilla movie, which I am not watching because I'm cooking dinner. Yes, it's like 5:25. Dinner is ready. Now I'm going to go upstairs and watch Godzilla. Hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry it was so short. Maybe it wasn't short. Anyways, that's how I make a Sicilian style pizza. My father was full-blood Sicilian. My grandparents came from Sicily in the early 1900s. And that's the type of pizza I grew up eating, just like this. Here in the Philippines. Dino D, family man in the Philippines, making Sicilian pizza in the Philippines, Butuan City. And bye-bye for now. Oh, please subscribe, click the like button, leave a comment or two. That'd be great. Until next time, have a great day.